categories. So one is a woman who is in the state of menses, and another woman who is in the state of nufasa, another woman who is in the state of breastfeeding, another woman who is in the state of pregnancy. There's two four categories here. So all these things are marad, kind of sickness. It is not a it is not a permanent sickness, but is a temporary sickness. Now, when it comes to haid, you have to compensate the fasting. There is no fidya. Many people are of the misconception that they have to give fidya because they have got menses. Some of the people are even they don't even consider they have to compensate later. Wallahi alazim. I've met many people. They ask me question, Sheikh, do I have to compensate my fasting which I got even the Ramadan due to the menses? Do I have to fast? Yes, of course you have to compensate that. Many of them doesn't even know. And now when it comes to the menses, there are two kinds of menses. One thing is 1 day to 7 days or whatever it is. Some women has 1 to 7 days of menstruation. Some of them has 1 to 5 days or 3 days or 2 days or 5 days or 6 days, whatever it is. And some of them will have for months together. So are they exempted from fasting? Yes, no, they're not exempted from fasting. There is a difference between haid and there is a difference between istihada. So women has to keep this thing in the mind. Women has to keep this in the mind that when the month of Ramadan approaches or the days approaches when you are in the state of menstruation, always check before Fajr that you are purified or not. This is obligatory upon you. Do not be lazy. Do not render your worship. Do not make your worship spoil. وَلَا تُبْدِلُ أَعْمَالُكُمْ. Do not destroy your worship with your own hands. Okay, number one. There are some women who has continuous bleeding more than 7 days. That is known as istihada. Upon them is to fast. Upon them is to take ghusl. They can have a relationship with their husbands. Absolutely no problem. Absolutely no problem. These things you have to keep that in the mind, inshallah. Is it clear? Number one. When it comes to those women who has continuous bleeding. Now, how are we going to understand continuous bleeding? That's a different issue. I've discussed about this matter in the explanation of Bulugh al-Maram in the chapter of menstruation. You will find in my channel, inshallah, in YouTube. If you type my name, you'll find in Book of Tahara, last two episodes. Chapter 15 and 16, inshallah, you'll find about the menstruation. In detail, I've discussed about the issues that are related to the menstruation. Inshallah, you can check that, inshallah, ta'ala, and you can understand this. Many women whose menstruation is stopped even before the 7 days, like third day, second or fourth day, third, second, fourth day, subhanallah. But they still wait until the 7 days. This is haram billah. This is haram. If the menstruation is stopped before 3 days or 4 days, then obligatory upon you to take ghusl and start fasting. This same issue applies when it comes to nufasa, post-natal bleeding. Postnatal bleeding normally goes till 40 days. Some women are purified. Some women will not have even bleeding that. You know that some women does not have bleeding at all after the delivery of the child. So they have to start fasting the very next day. Some women do not have at the 40th day it stops. So until 40 days, they're exempted from fasting. Obviously, they have to compensate later. And number three, the one whose no, the postnatal bleeding did not stop after 40 days, if they have istihada, they have to take ghusl on the 40th day and they have to start fasting and they have everything is halal upon them. Is it clear? So you have to keep this in mind.